Hey students, this is lesson 712 part A. We're going to split this lesson into two parts to make it a little more manageable. So what we're going to do is learn how to apply equations. So we're going to be creating equations and then using those equations to solve problems. So this first one is about finding an equation to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius and Celsius to Fahrenheit. So let's just go through these problems one at a time and just try to focus on what's going on here. It says, number one says, in Fahrenheit, how many degrees are between freezing and boiling points of water? So in Fahrenheit, so we're going to look at this one right here. So how far is it from freezing, which is 32, to boiling, which is 212? And to figure that out, we're just going to subtract. And I think that's 180. All right. Now it says, which is greater, a Fahrenheit degree or a Celsius degree? And in other words, I think what they're saying here is, if you change 1 degree, which are you actually getting warmer by the most, in a Fahrenheit degree or a Celsius degree? And I think we'd have to say Celsius because if you go from freezing to boiling in Celsius, it's only 100 degrees. But in Fahrenheit, it's 180 degrees. So for every Celsius degree, you are covering quite a bit more than you are with a Fahrenheit degree. So, and it says use a ratio to show how big a Fahrenheit degree is compared to a Celsius degree. And what we would do there is just take the difference between freezing and boiling for Celsius, which is 180, and divide it by the difference between freezing and boiling for Celsius, which is 100, and divide those two, and we would get 1.8. So for every 1 degree Celsius, we're going up 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. And by the way, I said that, you probably can decide that this is a linear situation. And the reason is because we're changing a certain exact number of degrees Fahrenheit for every degree Celsius. So basically we're going up by the same amount. We're going up by a constant rate. Okay, it says write an equation now. So we know how much we're going up by for each degree Celsius. So we can use what we know and write, and it's linear, so we can write an equation like this. We just have to know a couple things here. We have to know how much it's going up by, which we just covered. That's 1.8. Actually, y is that's going to be our Fahrenheit, so I'm going to use the letter F for y. And then 1.8 times our degrees Celsius, because we're going up 1.8 for every degree Celsius. And then I need to add b, which is our y-intercept, or that's our output when our input is 0. In other words, if we had 0 degrees Celsius, what would the degrees Fahrenheit be? And that's this information right here, and that's 32 degrees Celsius. So with Fahrenheit, we're actually starting at 32 degrees when it's freezing, and then we go up by 1.8 degrees for every degree Celsius. All right, so there's our equation. So Fahrenheit equals 1.8 times C plus 32. All right, the next thing we're going to do is, it says Emma's cousin wanted to know how to convert Fahrenheit temperatures into Celsius. And I think I'm going to leave this for class here. But it says start with the original, and you can try this right now at home if you want. Just pause here. But so we have this equation. And write this down, so this is where we'll start. If you don't understand this, then I'll cover this in class tomorrow. But it says rearrange it into a Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion by doing the same thing. So what they're talking about is what we're going to do is we are going to solve it for C, basically. And I'll do that with you in class. All right, we're going to do some more conversions now. It says write an equation to perform each of the following conversion, and we're going to use this chart here to help us out. And I'm just going to use the variables x and y to help. So, and we're going to create an equation for each of those. So let's let our pints be x and our gallons be y here for this first one. And then we'll look at the table over here, and we see that pints and gallons, now these are all equal to each other in this chart right here. So 8 pints is the same as 1 gallon. So what we can do is, think about that now. So converting from pints to gallon, there's a factor of 8 involved here. So you just have to think about changing from pints to gallons. And I'll just put this up here. We know that 8 pints is the same as 1 gallon. So if we have pints and we want to change it into gallons, gallons is a smaller number. So if we take our gallons divided by 8, we can get our pints. Or if we put our pints divided by 8, I mean divided by 8 equals our gallons. Or we could do, if we wanted to change the other way, so if we have x pints and our factor is 8 to 1, we're going to divide that by 8 to get our number of gallons. All right. If we want to convert from milliliters to liters, so let's let x be milliliters and y be liters. And it always helps to think about which is the smaller unit of measurement here. And in this case, milliliters is much smaller than liters. And we're going to look at the table here, and we see that 1,000 milliliters is the same as 1 liter. So what that's saying is if we have milliliters and we wanted to change it to liters, we need to take those milliliters, and there's many of them, divide those by 1,000 to get our number of liters. All right, from kilograms to milligrams. So I think I'll leave these two to do in class, and we'll go down here. And we'll use our equations that we just wrote to convert to gallons. So I have pints divided by 8 equals gallons. And I want to change 4 pints. So all I need to do now is put that where my variable for pints is and do that calculation. 4 divided by 8 equals 0.5 gallons. So 0.5 gallons is the same as 4 pints. All right, I want to change from quarts to cups now. So I'm going to first write an equation that changes from quarts to cups. So I'll let x be quarts and y be cups. So my cups, now I need to look at the relationship between it. We have 16 cups is the same as 4 quarts. So I'll just think about that for a second. So for every 4 quarts, we have 16 cups. So if I'm going to change from quarts to cups, and remember, cups are a smaller measurement, so we need to multiply our quarts by 4 to get our number of cups. So y is equal to 4 times x. So now I have 2 quarts, and I want to change that to cups. All I need to do is do 4 times 2, which is 8. 2 quarts is the same as 8 cups. All right, and then I think I'll leave the other 2 for us to do in class there. All right, number 11 says, which 2 units could the conversion equation y equals x divided by 1,000 represent? Think about that, but we can go back to our chart and just look at anything where there's a factor of 1,000 involved. So it could be these 2. And if you're dividing by 1,000, then you're taking the smaller measurement to go to the bigger measurement when you're dividing. And you could also use some of these as possibilities for that answer. All right. I'll do just one of these last ones with you, and then we'll do the rest in class. We have, actually, we can save this for tomorrow. We'll call this the end of lesson 712A, and we'll start lesson 712B tomorrow night. See you tomorrow.